The offering vibrated in her hands, the ordinary items sanctified into concepts for living, the prayers, the songs, the visions. She could feel them waiting to feed the beings hovering around. The water moved sluggishly through the creek, gasping for air under the thick oil sludge that spread out from the banks where the bodies of ducks and trout lay in their black shrouds, rotting. She didn't know which was worse, the destruction she could see or the stench that permeated the air. Shania diverted her eyes from the corpses in order to hold the vision of healing and lifted the package high in the air, honoring each direction and each element, inviting the spirits of all living things to come, be acknowledged, feast. She smiled, feeling them present, salivating for the energy she was about to feed them. Aho! And she tossed the despacho, the offering, into the creek. It settled lightly in the middle where the fragile current caught it. It spun slowly and began to drift, the white paper quickly darkening, the colors of the flowers and the rainbow ribbon holding them, becoming more and more muted as layer upon layer of raw crude lapped at its edges. The oily poison was, however, no deterrent to the hungry spirits. Shania turned her back and walked away from the energetic feeding frenzy that meant her offering had been accepted, knowing the spirits preferred privacy for their feasting. She knew they had come to anticipate her monthly offering, and she knew that the healing for this once lovely source of fresh, clean water would be expedited. Thank you, sacred ones, she whispered. Thank you for helping to restore this beautiful place. Shania angled her climb up the bank to get as far as she could from where the rupture in the pipeline had laid its oily pall across earth on its way to the creek. She kept her anger banked, unwilling to go into the maelstrom of fury and grief that would steal her energy if she allowed it. It was too overwhelming, too painful. She had learned to meet it out, just enough anger to energize action, at least for now. That's what Red Fox always said, that damned old medicine man is always right. Aggravating. She picked up her pace as she looked at the sky, wary of the roiling black clouds sweeping across the sun. It wouldn't do to get the borrowed truck stuck out here in the middle of nowhere in a thunderstorm. It was a good half hour on rough dirt before she got to asphalt, then another hour before she could kick off her boots and drink something cold and wet. Daniel might even have something good to feed the hunger growing in her belly. He'd saved a venison roast back from his latest batch of jerky. The thought made her mouth water. Shania was relieved when the old Ford fired up right away. The tires spun in the red dirt, raised a cloud of dust, then got traction and rolled across the plains toward the county road. She kept the window down, enjoying the smell of dry earth and approaching rain, cooled by the wind blowing tumbleweeds helter-skelter around the truck. She felt light and happy. In the creek, now out of sight behind her, water moved with more energy and light. The molecules had changed shape as Shania's expressions of love and prayers for healing restored the damage done to their structure. The water would remember, and on its continuous cycle of evaporation, reconstitution, and travels through oceans and tributaries, the water from that little creek in Oklahoma would tell its story to all its brothers and sisters. Yes, there are still humans who recognize us as part of themselves. Yes, we are acknowledged and loved. Spread the word.